Pakistan may be denying the presence of Dawood Ibrahim on Pakistan soil, but as per a report in Hindustan Times, India is armed with strong documentary evidence to nail Pakistan. The documents in question are in possession of the security agencies, which clearly show that Dawood is staying in Karachi. The Daily has published the latest photograph of the mastermind of the 1993 Mumbai serial blast. The photograph indicates that the 59-year-old underworld don has a receding hairline, is clean-shaven and has not undergone any facial cosmetic change. The agencies are also in possession of an April 2015 telephonic bill in the name of Dawood's wife Mehjabeen with the installation address. The agencies also have got hold of the images of Dawood Ibrahim's passport. According to the Daily, the underworld don has 3 Pakistani passports with different addresses. The documents also show that Dawood's family members travelled between Pakistan and Dubai many times this year. With passport numbers, flight and passenger details available with Indian agencies, there is now irrefutable evidence that Dawood and his brood stay in Karachi. NSA Ajit Dawood is set to confront his Pakistani counterpart if the talks take place between the two NSAs on Monday. All right, I want to cut across to Rahul Kanwal, our managing editor, who's joining us at this point of time. Rahul, you know, it does seem for the first, at least irrefutable evidence right now coming to the fore where Dawood Ibrahim is concerned.
Absolutely, Preeti. Morning, and it's very significant because this has been an abiding mystery. What does Dawood Ibrahim look like? Has he got a face change done? Has he had a cosmetic surgery? The latest image put out by the Indian intelligence agencies, which forms part of the dossier that Ajit Dawood intends to hand over to Sartaj Aziz, shows that Dawood Ibrahim has not got any cosmetic surgery done. His hairline is receding, but that's only natural. He's 59 now. But that apart, he still looks the way he does. What's also interesting, as you pointed out in the story that you just ran, is that at the address at which he stays, the telephone bills are in the name of his wife. Now, this is very concrete evidence, and we've been speaking to people in the Indian establishment, and their sense is that because Pakistan realizes that all these incontrovertible parts of evidence will be presented to Sartaj Aziz, whether it is Naved's confessions, whether it is the Dawood dossier,
right.
And therefore Sartaj Aziz is worried, that therefore Pakistan is worried, and therefore they've been trying to find some reason or the other to cancel the talks.
You know, that's what I want to come down to, Rahul. How much do you think now this will impact talks which already are in clear jeopardy?
At the highest level, when we spoke to sources late last evening, just before the newsroom, we were told that every effort will be made by India to ensure that these talks go ahead. I said it seems highly unlikely given the vitiated atmosphere that you can have a meaningful dialogue. They said we don't know about whether there will be any meaning in the dialogue or not, but the dialogue will happen. Sartaj Aziz will land. We will ensure that from our side no effort is made to cancel the talk, which is why the Indian government reacted with the spirit which it did yesterday to ensure that a message goes out that India is not cancelling the talks after PTI reported that the talks were being cancelled. So from India, the perspective is we will present them to Sartaj Aziz. Remember, there's a United Nations General Assembly session that starts in a couple of weeks from now. India's Prime Minister will be meeting with Barack Obama in Washington again in a couple of weeks from now, and therefore before that India wants to ensure that it is able to expose Pakistan globally, and India wants to send the message globally that we did what we could to ensure peace, to ensure that there were talks, and if they didn't go forward, it's because Islamabad is to blame and not India. So that game of ensuring that you win the public perception globally is also a very important point right now.
You know, stay with me, Rahul. We're joined by our colleague Kaswar, who's with us from Islamabad. Kaswar, you know, the latest coming in right now of the Daily Hindustan Times, irrefutable evidence where it comes down to Dawood Ibrahim. How has it been picked up in Pakistan right now?
Yeah, I must agree with Mr. Rahul that there must be something that has prompted Pakistani side to go back from the talks and whatsoever. But one thing very much clear when we talk about Dawood Ibrahim, Pakistani government, Pakistan security agencies have long been making statements and asking the Indian side to come up with the concrete proof and definitely the things will go ahead in that way.
But you know, Kasper,
But,
that's the point, because now there seems to be irrefutable proof as well. Documentary evidence to prove
but,
what...
But what we have talked to Pakistani officials, they express their ignorance about such kind of evidence about Dawood. But one thing is very much clear. That is, Pakistani officials believe we can go ahead in case if Pakistan is provided with the irrefutable evidence against Dawood Ibrahim or other gangsters that India believe are
Okay.
hiding in Pakistan. So that is the
Right.
case. What I believe, maybe the Indian authorities have not shared the evidence with the Pakistani side until now.
You know, that's why I want to bring in Rahul at this point of time. Rahul, our colleague Kasper, pretty much highlighting the rhetoric that has been in Pakistan is to furnish evidence. The evidence has always been there. Pakistan never quite wanted to look at it.
Preeti, let's look at this from a Pakistani point of view. Does this new image constitute irrefutable evidence? Pakistan will laugh this off and say, no, this looks like a photoshopped image, that this is a grainy image. You can take Dawood's image from his stadium in Dubai, just change it, crop it a little, cut it off at the forehead, and this is what you'll have. So this is not going to be accepted, which is why it comes back to what Yashwant Sinha said. This is a dialogue of the deaf, or dialogue with the deaf. You speak to Pakistan, you present them with this evidence, you tell them that the telephone bill is in Dawood Ibrahim's wife's name, they'll say, no, this isn't. No matter what image that you produce, they'll make it seem as if it's from some Bollywood film, that it has nothing to do with Pakistan. Remember, that's exactly what they did with Osama bin Laden, and that's what they're doing over here. But what's significant though, is that so far, there was no visual evidence of Dawood's presence on Pakistani soil. Now with the documentary proof and this image, India has something to show internationally, not just the usual dossiers which have his address, but some visual evidence. And in the kind of times that we live, where perception is very important, this is an important part of the arsenal that India has to deploy from a propaganda perspective against Pakistan.
And you know, coming to that, you know, the global perception, you know, the projection where India is concerned in this, Rahul, how do you think with the latest where Dawood Ibrahim, evidence to that is concerned, and how things have played out in the last 2 days, how do you think that will play out on the global diplomatic front?
See, one of the key factors which India dismisses, Pakistan denies, is the presence of American pressure. We know that when President Obama and Prime Minister Modi met one-on-one, President Obama did ask the Prime Minister, what's your view on Pakistan? How do you intend to deal with it? And we're told by sources at that time the Prime Minister spent quite a few minutes elaborating on how he was willing to cooperate, how he was willing to move forward, but how there wasn't adequate response from Pakistani side. So that's the kind of pressure that's working behind the scenes. Washington and the rest of the world wants to see India and Pakistan talk, to have two nuclear armed neighbors, increasing hostilities, having a go at each other, pounding artillery shells on each other on a very volatile border is the last thing the world wants. That's a reality. That reality cannot be ignored, especially with just weeks to go before Prime Minister Modi travels to the United States. However, India wants to convey the image, and I think it's succeeding in that in a great extent, that we're the ones who are willing to talk. Remember, this goes back to the UFA declaration, which says that you will talk about combating terrorism and related issues and peace along the boundary. Now, this is something that the Pakistani Prime Minister had agreed to. Now, people in Pakistan can say that this is a mistake. People can say that maybe Pakistani diplomats were not forceful enough. That may be true, but you've signed a joint declaration and surely you must keep up with it. Preeti, what's interesting is that India now seems to have come up with two Pakistan policies. This is what a senior minister told me yesterday. One is that there's a policy towards Raheel Sharif and the Pakistani army, and then there's a separate policy towards Nawaz Sharif and the Pakistani government. The policy towards Raheel Sharif and the Pakistani army is, we will pound you if you pound us, we will hit you harder if you hit us. Whereas they realize that Nawaz Sharif is trying his best to move forward on the peace process. He may not be succeeding, but they want to strengthen his hands, which is why even though the Congress is attacking the BJP for not moving fast enough, yet they want to strengthen Nawaz Sharif, yet they don't want to make him seem embarrassed, because they believe that that is the only way to build this, to try and show that Nawaz Sharif is a good guy, we're trying to work with him, but it's Raheel Sharif who's trading.
All right. You know, Rahul, I'm going to come in. We're getting in, you know, reactions immediately right now. I'm going to come right back to you.
देखिए, जो दाऊद इब्राहिम का जो डोजियर आज पेपर में आया है, वो एक अनरिफ्यूटेबल है, उसको कोई झुटकार नहीं सकता, और अब पाकिस्तान एक डिनायल मोड से बाहर आना चाहिए। दूसरा, ये जब पाकिस्तान की सरकार जब ऊफा के अंदर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के साथ जो जॉइंट स्टेटमेंट किया कि टॉक्स टेरर के ऊपर ही होएगी, आतंक के ऊपर ही होएगी, तो ये पाकिस्तान को पता था कि भारत सरकार, जो मोदी जी की सरकार है, गवर्नमेंट है, वो एक पुख्ता सबूत लेकर आएगी टेरर के ऊपर। तो इसलिए अब पाकिस्तान की जिम्मेदारी है कि जो उन्होंने सोचा था, ऊफा के अंदर साइन किया था, उसको पूरा करें और एनएसए के टॉक्स में कल वो शरीक हों, और मुझे उम्मीद है कि वो आएंगे।